Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video.
Well, hey everybody, back out here at Giga Texas, and today we are here one day before the shareholders meeting that's going to be held in the main lobby on the west side of Giga Texas. We're already seeing a lot of preparations for that, some displays that are being put near the flagpoles, of course the new bollards that they put by that main entrance area to separate from the roadway. There are some tents, there's other demonstration items being placed all around that area, so it looks like they're really close to being ready for that event. Now, over on the east side in that large parking lot, where they also have all the new trailers, including the welcome trailer, they're putting up the tent that will be used to check everybody in, get your badges, and then be bussed over for the main event. So a lot is going on. Of course, if you are a shareholder, just a reminder, today is the last day to vote. There are a lot of items on the ticket to be voted for, including, of course, the main item that everybody's talking about, the CEO compensation package. But if you're going to vote and you haven't done so, now is the time to do that. If you don't get a chance to come to the shareholders meeting, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to be there yet or not, keeping my fingers crossed, but you never know. But there is an event that is the after party being put on by the Tesla Austin and the Owners Club here, and it's going to be over at the Boring Bodega, which is at Hyperloop Plaza, right by the Boring Company and the Starlink satellite production facility, about 10 to 12 miles to the east of Giga Texas, and that's going to start at about 5 p.m. and there's going to be a lot of us there as well. So if you can't make the main event, or if you are there and then afterwards you want to do the after party, come on over. I think it's going to be a great opportunity just to talk about what happened and meet a lot of people as well. Now, I want to also let you know that yesterday I was interviewed by Matt Smith from Rebellionaire, and we talked a lot about Tesla, some of which was going to be for the shareholders meeting, but we also talked a lot about the Cybercab, some of the options that Tesla has looking forward as they are finishing up the production site, talking about what's going on here at Giga Texas for that. We talked a little bit about V14, FSD, and a bunch of other subjects that I think you might find interesting. So check that out on the Rebellionaire website. I think Farzad also has posted it on his site too. The last thing just to let you know about is FSD V14 is starting to roll out to some people with Cybertrucks, so that's a big event. So far it seems like it's being received pretty well, a lot of good reviews. I'm hoping that I'll get it soon so I can get a chance to try it out and let you know what I think, and in some of the areas that the previous version has kind of struggled at where I live, so hopefully that'll be soon. So otherwise, just a lot going on here at Giga Texas, of course, with all the construction and production that is going on here. And I think the best way to see that is get into the drone. Let's fly around and see what Giga Texas looks like. And of course, make sure you tune in for the shareholders meeting tomorrow.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, good morning from the south side of the Colorado River. I wanted to show you some of the construction that is underway here next to this roadway, and it connects over to where the Caisson work is underway. So I don't know if this is going to see some sort of trenching, or if it's going to be a conduit or some other construction, but I thought it was worth showing you here. Now we're going to pass over these power lines and the highway here. I'm going to show you what's going on the other side of the highway. There is a lot of work going on here with these apartment complexes, a lot of clearing. See the concrete pipe segments, a large section here getting ready for more construction. Those two large tilt wall construction business buildings, that one caisson that was a little bit farther south, and then here a closer look at more of the trenching and this concrete pipe for water drainage and some of the vaults as well. So all of this seems to not only be supporting more construction south of Giga Texas, but also tying into this water management system that they have been building, including this caisson. You can also see near this road more of this clearing nearby. Now at the caisson, a few things that are of note is, first, you can see these forms, and they've been using these to pour concrete at the bottom of this large caisson. And I'll try to maneuver the drone so you can see what's down inside. But the bottom has been kind of filled in. It looks like some concrete maybe. And then you can see that form with the ladder going down inside. And it looks like it's kind of a sump almost. But we're seeing this kind of construction in every single one of the caissons, so that seems pretty consistent. And as I kind of bring the drone back up here, look across the site, you can see on the top right where that clearing was that we started the video out with, just to get your kind of context of where everything is located. Now we're going to fly north over the Colorado River back up to another one of the caissons. This is the largest one, and I just want to give you a kind of a shot here of update of what's going on. You can see those forms on the ground. Those have been used down at the bottom of the caisson. And as I kind of maneuver here, you'll be able to see that they have another one of these almost like sumps. You can see the pipe segments going both to the south and north, and smaller ones going to the east and west. And this is kind of an interesting development. You can see one of those kind of liners going into the concrete pipe segment on the left-hand side, and that goes underneath the Colorado River and connects to the previous caisson that we just took a look at. So that's what's going on here. We'll see the others on the other side of the highway here momentarily. But right now, I'm going to fly over and take a look at this material staging yard. And what we see mostly here is construction materials. We see the corrugated steel pipes, other pipes segments here. These are all for water management system. And we're going to see that here by River Road on the east side where some of this is being used. We also see just more construction equipment and just small sections here of production line equipment at the bottom of the screen. In fact, I'm going to try to maneuver the drone here and give you a closer in view with a zoom in of what this looks like. And some of the silver wrapped items look like they're robotic assemblers. They may be Kuko robots or something similar. We see these red racks on the side and covered with some of the green. And I wonder if that's similar to what we will see at the top of the screen with some of these other green wrapped items. As we pass over more of the concrete vaults, we can see another section of production line equipment stored here. See more of that red and some of the white painted steel items, and of course all of the green wrapped items. So other than that, it's mostly building materials, and it also shows that there really isn't a lot more of the production line equipment arriving on site and being moved into the factory. So I think that's a really great indication of what's going on inside the factory. Now, as we pass over that transformer and some of these racks for the castings that are being stored here, that's pretty much all that is left on this staging yard. So I'm going to cross over the power lines. We'll look at what's going on at this large staging yard, and we'll start here on kind of the south side. We'll see a lot of these items that are for the 4680 cell portion of the factory. We see a lot of steel on the left-hand side of the screen underneath the power poles being accumulating there. More items, red and white, which would indicate something inside the factory related to production. All of these cabinets are related to 4680 construction, and this kind of work center is where they've been assembling superchargers and some other equipment for that. And this Quonset hut workshop is now getting its fabric lined roof today. As we fly over more of the parts and materials that are being stored here, just wanted to get a quick look at all of the transformers that have been accumulating on this part of the site. Again, this is one of 2 areas for transformers. A lot more spools of cable and many of the containers for other equipment here. Now, as we get back to the outbound lot, I want to just show you the amount of vehicles that are here, significantly more than what we saw on Monday. And there's a nice mix of Cybertrucks, Model Y standards, and Model Y premiums. In fact, today appears to be a Model Y standard production day. That's what we're going to see coming out of the factory, and that's what I've been seeing drive around the site as I've been flying. Here's a close-in view of the number of these Model Y standards that are here, large groupings of them. So hopefully that means that they're selling pretty well. So I'm not sure what that is yet, but you know, the amount that they're producing is definitely a lot. We also see many more Cybertrucks. I've had some viewers comment that they have orders, but they are being delayed and they're wondering when they're going to get their Cybertrucks. Well, it looks like the production is at least picking up some, so hopefully that'll help you get your Cybertruck soon. In this lot, we see more of the Model Ys kind of accumulating and getting ready for the movement to the outbound lot for the pickup. And just a great view of all of the vehicles here with this lighting and, of course, downtown Austin in the top of the screen. Busy as always on the north end of the end-of-line facility. A lot of vehicles getting ready to go in for that final processing and more arriving autonomously on that left side, those 4 lanes. So I'm going to kind of bring the drone up to the north, turn back, risking a little bit of the sun, and we'll get ready to cross over the highway and resume on the other side. As I bring the drone down and try to use the building to shield the sun, I wanted to show you that the Tesla semi that's been here for a while is kind of sitting right at this part of the site today. I don't know if it's been used for some materials being brought over to where that lifting the platform and the crane was, but it is neat to see it moving around site periodically. Now, I did mention that Model Y standards seem to be produced today, so I'm going to maneuver the drone here at the exit point. Again, trying to use the building to give a shade of that sun in the early morning. You see one of the Model Y standards on the right and another one just exiting the factory. Of course, you can definitely tell with this view that it is being driven autonomously and heading over to that outbound lot. The Cybertruck with that casting rack is just returning back from delivering castings for production of Cybertrucks. Here we see the new bollards on the ground with just the rest of that landscaping by the road being finished up. In this landscaping section, we see this small house with solar roof for a demonstration. All this, I believe, is for the shareholders meeting, and they're going to be doing some more displays on that stone glass trapezoid structure. Across the road is some demonstration items and some tents. See the solar roof demo on the left, that kind of wooden structure, and it looks like a mobile supercharger. And we'll see what else is going on here. As I pan the drone around, we get a nice reflection of the flags in the windows and another tent that's being set up probably for the shareholders meeting tomorrow. So I'm going to kind of turn towards the south. We're going to fly down along the road and kind of come in just to take a look at this opening for this drive path through the factory. Again, this road goes all the way through, connects on the east side, and it goes right next to the Boring Company tunnel, that Cyber tunnel where the Cybertrucks exit the factory, drive underneath the highway to the right. And as we continue to work our way to the south, past another one of the bus stops, we'll bring the drone over the power lines and show you what's going on here with more trenching, trench box, and pipe installation at the bottom of this particular one. And we see some grass seed mix being sprayed around for erosion control. And then in this area, we see more of the work on this smaller caisson. Concrete vault on the left. We see those spreader bars and the sheeting piles to keep that trench open for work, and it looks like it's much deeper, and more of those have been installed to keep the trench from collapsing in. Inside, we can tell that the floor has been raised and more of those forms for that almost like a sump again in the middle of that caisson. So definitely interesting to see how that is progressing. I'm going to show you the fifth and the newest caisson. Last time we saw one ring depth. Now it looks like they poured another. It's sunk back down, and you can see some more rebar sticking out of the top. So I'm kind of thinking it may go higher, but on the other hand, the forms that are needed for the concrete are not visible here anymore. So perhaps that's as much as it's going to be. I don't know. I'll just continue to watch that as it develops. As we drive or fly on River Road on the right, we see more of those trenching and the trench boxes, some of the concrete vaults for manhole covers, but the rest of it has been filled back in, and they've got some of that grass seed spray on the ground. So that kind of indicates that that work is completed. As we get to the southeast corner of the factory, some good lighting so you can see the new mezzanine and the columns that were added in on the left-hand side of the screen, and that white interior structure that they've added. All of the asphalt's been added over on the trenching that indicates that this is now completed as well, and a good view of the cooling plant from the ground level. So I'm going to bring the drone up. We're going to reposition over the power lines, and then I'm going to fly off to the east and give you an idea of what that looks like as we fly along Colorado River and then over to the new clearing. So there's a good view of some of these trails that kind of lead off through the trees. We have the power poles leading off below the drone, and then this is that large clearing that continues to get bigger, and there's more work removing trees underway today. Starting on the easternmost edge, we see the workshops on the right and the recycle center also on the right. This is what this land area appears like. There is some hills and valleys, so this will all have to be leveled off for construction. It does look like this tree line is being maintained at the bottom of the screen, kind of in a triangular or a diagonal across this clearing. And we can tell where the tree removal is continuing. At the bottom of the screen, you can see that silt fence, which kind of defines the edge of this clearing. And it kind of ties all in with the extension of River Road that you see at the top center of the screen. And here's a better view of some of that tree removal. So this is going to be part of a roadway that extends River Road around this section up eventually to the cathode building. There's enough room for more construction, and it looks like they prepared more of the roadway here with those orange and white dividers at that curve to continue around, at least for now. And the intersection with Robotic Avenue is still being worked on. As I kind of maneuver around here to show you what River Road looks like today, I wanted to also show that the steel corrugated pipe is being positioned along this newly widened berm. So it's very likely that the reason why they widened the berm is that they could add in more of these storm water drainage pipes and connect into the system. And it's a pretty extensive one that wraps around the entire factory and is responsible for keeping it from flooding. This is a low-lying area. Here next to stamping, we see a truck bringing a coil of steel, some more of those red and white platform items that are being stored. But the biggest thing is the lack of any new production equipment around on the east side getting ready to be moved inside. So that indicates that everything or most of it is inside installed and ramping up that production line. Here we see more of the items being stored for materials and equipment, and then just on the south side of the parking garage. And as we pass along the east side, just a good overall view of the level of activity. Other than the trucks, which are used as part of that warehouse on wheels concept, We don't see much of anything else being prepared for movement inside. So again, that confirms what I was saying about equipment being installed and where they are with that process. As I continue to kind of pan the drone around here, just show you this material staging yard and just the number of materials that are being stored here, pipe segments, some manifolds. We also see some HVAC ductwork and some of the glass that's being stored here. As we fly over the old testing and calibration lot and past that east secondary entrance and the cyber circle, I want to show you a few very interesting details that are going on here next to the east side of casting. First of all is the opening here where there used to be a platform. They have the concrete panel restored. The glass is not yet put in, but all along this side is newly manufactured or casted rear subframes for the Cybercab. Now these are untrimmed, which means they have the biscuit and some of the flashing that come with the casting process. They'll be milled with the machinery inside the factory here, and then once those are completed, then they're put into these racking systems and then moved over for production. On the left-hand side of the screen are Model Ys, and passing underneath the drone right now are the Model Y castings. And then here at the bottom are the trimmed rear subframes for the Cybercabs, and there's several hundred of them here in those racks. More castings along the ground. Some of those may be for recycling. It's hard to tell. You can see the kind of rectangular cube-shaped silver items on pallets. Those are actually being delivered from a truck, just similar to what we see at the bottom of the screen. This kind of Conestoga or accordion truck. This is coming from offsite and it's being used for melting down and making the aluminum alloys for the casting. So pretty cool to see all of that activity. On the roof here, the northwest corner, just wanted to show you the seam repairs that are going on with the weatherproof membrane around the cooling enclosures and the ducting. And it looks like they're got it all cleaned up and they're doing some of the work next to the parapet wall to probably repair some leaks. Here is where the crews are installing more of the fence posts to finish up the perimeter fence around this part of the site. And then at the north end of the factory, I'm going to pass the 4680 section to come to the plastics area and show you the deliveries, the racking systems for some of the plastic parts, and the recycle bin full of Model Y standard bumpers. Looks like they are being prepared for recycling since they can just break that down and reuse the material to make new bumpers. As we pass around the northeast corner, you can see some of the castings in racks at the bottom. Those are all Cybertrucks. And as we kind of wrap around the melt center, I'll position the drone. We'll get a zoom in and show you what's going on with the furnace loading system. This is the number 2 one, and it's almost finished now. We see some few more parts on the ground. Of course, the recycled material that's brought in, including those alloy wheels, more of those kind of cube-shaped recycled material that's being delivered on this truck. And you can see one of the forklifts that's moving them around, also near those castings on the ground. And a good shot at the rear subframes of the Cybercab. So a lot of activity here near the melt center and the casting machine section of the building. One other thing that I just wanted to show you as we kind of fly along here is just all of the castings and the racks that are stored along this side of the site. So now I'm going to fly up to the north over near Tesla Road, and where the new trailers are all pretty much operational, and there is activity getting ready for Shareholders Day tomorrow. Now this parking lot is where the shareholders will be able to arrive and park. You can see that they've got some planters and kind of a display off to the left, and the tent which is going to be used for the people arriving for the shareholders event to be checked in, get their badges, and prepare to get on the shuttle buses to head over to the west side. And nice displays here that the guests will be able to see. And I'm not sure, but this tent-like structure here maybe is related to that as well. Although it looks like it's got picnic tables, maybe it's just for employees. As we cross over Tesla Road, this is the area where those trailers used to be located, or at least the original ones. You can see many of them have been moved off-site, although there are a few remaining that are operational. And as I mentioned before, the reason why they're being moved is because of all of this construction that is encroaching into this area. You can see the roadway has been removed here next to the power lines. And then as we pass over this kind of fence, we can see some materials being stored, conduit and concrete vault with manhole cover access points. More of the vaults here and the conduit extending into the large vault with these 3 control trailers. And then next to the large transformer, we can see that the boxes are being prepared to be unpacked, and some items are being unpacked right now. They have a crane getting ready to lift these items up onto the transformer itself for assembly. And as I zoom in, this gives you a great look and view of what that appears like today. And all of this is equipment that will support the transformer being finalized, and then there'll be that large oil tank put on top that's used for cooling, and then it will be almost ready for connection. And then I expect to see the second one arriving very soon. As I pull away, this just gives you a great view of the east side, some of the materials being stored, some of the workshops and trailers, the equipment, vehicles, and also some rebar cages and some of the pile drilling items necessary for maybe a few more of the footings. Of course, more materials on the north end for that vertical steel assembly. And as we come back in to take a look at the switchyard expansion, this gives you a great view of what all is here. And most, if not all, of the footings appear to be completed, as well as 4 of the V-type circuit breakers that have been installed. Now we see more of them on the ground at the top of the screen, so we're going to see more of those installed soon. As we come over towards the Cortex 2 on the west side, we can see that new Keystone material staging yard on the right. On the left, we can see roof drains being connected and going into the ground, and then connecting into the underground water system that has been installed to help with the drainage. On the bottom of the screen is the third of the 3 large conduit connections into Cortex 2. And then in the middle of the screen is where they're continuing to build out these conduit trenches and the concrete vaults, and kind of breaking this into 3 main parts, 2 of which are already connected into the factory, or at least the plant. And we can see more work, clearing, and preparation, possibly for more of the screw-type piers along the entire west side. Speaking of which, the crews are busy adding more of the screw-type piers further north to the original or the site that began all of this work. You can see that they kind of attach that device to the screw-type pier, and then they are able to screw it down into the ground to the depth that is necessary. And these provide the reinforcement of the ground and support for the equipment that will be installed on top. We see many more of them off to the left, stored waiting for installation. And this gives you a great look so far of how this installation is going. Plus, trenching now is being done in between where the screw-type piers have been installed. So I'm going to pull away and get higher altitude just so you get a great view of that west side and how it is coming together. The south side looks like they have been working on some of that trenching conduit and basically just widening out that cleared section to the south of the factory or the plant. As we get down lower, we can tell that there's more excavation work here, kind of in between the die shop on the right and the Cortex 2 on the left. And then here we see these 2 kind of excavations. At the bottom, you see those circles. Those are kind of like geopiers, which is where they drill into the ground with an auger, and then they put it in gravel and compact it down. Here we see risers for electrical conduit on the left. And as we continue to fly up to the north, we can see actually that auger at work and that compactor, and they're building more of those geo piers, and they're in very closely bundled sections. And this is one of several that we've seen in this area that we're flying above right now. You can see some of the flags on the ground showing where more of them will be constructed. deliveries of dirt here, more work on the exterior walls. We can see inside the ground slab is completed, and it's all the way up to the very north end of the building. And as I wrap around, and we can see the materials that are staged here, you can note that the fencing has been removed. There are some stakes at the ground by the road, so we'll have to watch and see what that is for. And then here they've poured the last section of the slab coming right up to the perimeter grade beam, and this may actually complete the entire ground slab in the building. So great news to see that, and that will of course allow them to really get working on installing equipment inside Cortex 2. As we fly along the west side of the cathode building, I wanted to show you how active the chiller plant is today. All 4 of the fan units are going. We see a lot of steam coming up out of those. Also, we see a lot of the condensation onto the vaporizers, and you can clearly see all of the kind of smoke or mist, the vapors coming off because they are so cold, and the atmosphere is very humid today. So that's great to see as we fly along the east side to the north of the cathode building. A great shot of the overall complex of structures here at Giga Texas now, looking back to the main factory. The bottom of the screen is more of the materials that have been stockpiled and some of the old concrete that is being broken up and will eventually be recycled. It's been here for a few years now. And as we pass over more of the materials, I wanted to show you the large grouping of the green transformers, some more of the pipe segment connections on the bottom. Of course, that structure is the cell testing and lab. And we pass over the wade pit to the crash testing facility. I just want to show you what else is going on here today. There is an interesting development inside the north end. First of all, on the bin at the bottom is that hood and parts for Cybercabs. We see 3 of them under covers at the right. And as I kind of maneuver around here, if you look where the 2-post lift is, I'll kind of give you a better zoom in here with a little bit different lighting. You can see what appears to be the chassis almost of a Cybercab that has been disassembled and is kind of sitting there. And I'm assuming it's a Cybercab. Maybe it's just a testing item for crash testing. But anyway, it's basically a basic frame with just wheels. On the outside, we see what looks to be at least 6, maybe 7 Cybercabs under covers, and then more vehicles that have been crash tested. I'm going to kind of keep the zoom in, maneuver around the south side, and show you that the dunk tank has got the grates on top, so they're not using that right now. That's next to that large water tank. Inside the crash testing wall is in the middle of the site over where the camera pit is, so it looks like they're preparing for more testing. And then here on the south side, we see a grouping of 7 vehicles that look like they're getting ready for recycling. And I'll kind of give you a zoom in. You can tell what they are. Many of them appear to be Model 3s. And this is, we've seen this before, where after the crash testing is done, they accumulate enough, then they will get ready for those to go off to be recycled off of Giga Texas. So that will bring us to an end for the video today. I'll bring the drone up to a higher altitude, kind of give you an overall view of all of the areas that we visited today. Of course, downtown Austin, beautifully lit in the top of the screen. As a reminder, we do have the shareholders meeting tomorrow, and I'm hoping to be able to be there. And if I am, I'll try to share as much as I can with you. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great day.